Hello, everybody, and welcome to Entrepreneur Lives. Today we have Tina, and Tina is a seasoned business coach consultant with 24 years of corporate experience. Tina shows business owners how to develop and implement business growth strategies, build better teams, generate leads, and increase their revenue streams. Welcome, Tina.
Hello, Barry. Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
Great. It's a pleasure to have you on today from all the way over there in Canada. Tell us a bit about you, Tina, and what you do and how you do it.
Well, as you said in my intro there, Barry, so I've been coaching for over 15 years. So started out as a personal coach, life coach, got involved with The Secret, and started realizing, how much I love learning about the law of attraction, deliberate creation, law of polarity, all that fun stuff. And then, as during my certification with the Quantum Success Coaching Academy, I was given the opportunity to run group coaching sessions in my corporate role. And they basically gave me the open forum to teach whatever it is that I want to teach. So I started teaching their employees about the power of positive thinking, goal setting, and future visioning. First class, I had 75 people show up. And then there was a waiting list. It was supposed to be done quarterly. Yeah. And so the admin called me. She's like, could you do this monthly? And I'm like, absolutely. So one thing you need to know about me, Barry, is I'm a yes person. I jump into things very quickly. It scares the people around me. But, I'm all about, I don't want to live in a world of what if. I don't want to live with any regrets. So if it doesn't work, it's a learning experience. If it works, fantastic. Let's see where it takes me.
I love that. No, you're very, very true. Look, I'm a bit like that myself. I love being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because when we get stuck in our comfortable stage, our paradigms, we find that everything is the same. It remains the same. Whereas when we are uncomfortable, it's changing. And of course, it allows us to make changes. So tell us a bit more about, I suppose, before you came to that, like what led you, and tell us something about maybe good and bad as well.
Sure. So it was 2006, and my one of my oldest brothers, he actually asked me if I wanted to go to a 3-day seminar in Toronto. And it was based on the book by T. Harv Eker's Secrets of a Millionaire Mind.
Yeah.
And he said it's an all weekend thing, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., all 3 days. And I was like a little reluctant, but changed my life. It was one of those types of events that really helped you dive into the root cause of why you thought or felt or did the things that you were doing. So I had the opportunity to go on stage during that event, Barry. So there was 3,000 people there, and I'll never forget that moment, that feeling. And so T. Harv Eker put his hands on my shoulder and he just said, take it in, take it all in. And after that, that's what I have been chasing, that feeling, that's my drug. Yeah. So it was at that event that my brother, we were on break, and he's like, start a business. He's like, I don't care what you do, just start a business. And so that's how it started. And, in the beginning, when you're starting any type of business, you're willing to take on anything and anyone. Yeah. So there's a lot of learning that happens. I want to say year 1, year 3, year 5. As entrepreneurs, we're always looking to develop ourselves, improve our processes and the people that we work with, right? So
yeah, for sure.
That really did help me identify and determine what path I wanted to go on with my coaching business. And it's still evolving, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, I think every day is a learning day, I always say. We can never know it all. There's always something to learn from somebody. There's, when we look at even when the coaching space or as an entrepreneur in any business, different people do it in different ways, and different people are comfortable doing it in different ways. But I do believe it is a science, when it comes to any business, developing a business. I come across a lot of business owners, and they tend to, say whether they're having trouble getting leads, or whether they're having trouble developing their business, or whether they're having trouble expanding or scaling. You find that they can sometimes blame everything around them, but actually it starts on the inside and works towards the out as opposed from the outside in. And it's, you notice, and then you find that when you identify that with somebody, it's easy from there. It's easy to help
Yeah.
them develop their skills and help them move on from it without actually telling them that that's what the problem is.
It's funny you say that, Barry, because my company name is called See Yourself Grow, right? Because that's what I did for myself, personally and or professionally. Then when I started attracting coaches, consultants, and small business owners, I actually pondered the thought whether or not I should change my business name to
Yeah.
See Your Business Grow, because I have an 8-week See Your Business Grow program.
Right. Okay.
And my consultants were like, no, because leave See Yourself Grow, build out a branch of See Your Business Grow.
Yeah.
But in the end, everything starts with us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so, I love that point. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of people get focused and surround when it comes to marketing. And whilst marketing is important, but it's how the marketing evolves, and somebody says, oh, I'll do ads tomorrow, and if I spend $1,000 on ads, I'll get 10 clients. And you know what? They spend $1,000 and they get 0 clients. And it's because it hasn't started from within.
Yes.
And another funny story, and I always talk about, it's like the X factor. So they want to be rich and famous, and they win, and then all of a sudden when they get to be rich and famous, it's not actually what they thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And you know this when you mentioned law of attraction earlier, and polarity, and up and down, left and right. You really got to know your stuff. You've got to look at what the future, what you want and how you want it to turn out, and see yourself in the future before it happens. Allow yourself to be dragged towards it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Like I've been doing visioning, journaling, meditating since 2006. I get out, I get up an hour before my household gets up just so that I can focus on me first.
Yeah.
And if the kids wake up like while I'm in the midst of it, I literally pull out their vision boards and they sit down beside me,
Very
and
good.
then they start doing their own thing, but they know that when I'm in the zone, not to bother me.
Yeah.
But yeah, visualizing, manifesting, like that's the work, that's the internal work that I think a lot of people are not in tune with, right? They know what they want, but they're not willing to put in the work or the effort required, right?
I
Or
agree.
they're focusing on the wrong efforts,
Yeah.
or so
Yeah,
so
I've
that
seen it
has
so
a
many
lot to do with it.
times. I agree. I agree. I've seen it so many times with, I told a story the other day actually to a client, and we were talking about manifesting, and they were asking me, well, tell me something you've done. And I'd said to them, actually, I can tell you something I've done in a week. I said, but it wasn't in the week I done it. It was actually happening for a long time. So I was on a call with them. We were doing a session or whatever, and that was Friday last week. And I had said to them, they'd asked me, what are you manifesting? And I said, well, I've been trying to sell a property I own in the UK, but it's not selling. And I said, so I continue to do it. I said, day in, day out, 2 or 3 times a day, I'll think about it, and I'll see the lady that works in the office in Liverpool. And she goes, hello, Barry, just want to tell you your property sold. And I put on the accent, but that's what I hear in my
Yeah.
head. And then
Yeah.
on the following Monday, I got that call. And
That's
then on the
amazing.
following Friday, I was speaking to the client again. And I said, "You won't believe it. It actually happened." But I said it didn't happen in the week. I said it was. I've been doing that for 2 months or so, or 3 months.
Yeah.
And some things work, sometimes they don't. But it really is about your energy. It really is about looking at and putting time into, concentrating on what you want.
Oh, absolutely. Recently, Barry, I had a client reach back out to me. I did a vision board seminar with him. He was at the vision board seminar, and he had put a Ferrari, a specific
Okay.
Ferrari on his vision
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
This was just before the pandemic. So 2018, 2019 timeframe.
Yeah.
And he messaged me just at the beginning of September, and he's like, guess what I did this summer? He went to Maranello in Italy and actually drove that Ferrari.
Wow.
And I'm like, you see, I'm like, these things, like
Yeah.
some people need the evidence. And that's why I always tell my clients, start small, right?
Yeah.
Like start with the parking spot,
Yeah.
start with, whatever a perfect image of the job that you want, or the perfect client that you want, or I even do like, who's your ideal partner, and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, right? So
Look, it's really important, and I'm glad you've mentioned everything you've just said there, because it's so important that people actually do that, not only for their business, but for their personal life. And I think that's one of the possible problems with a lot of people is they don't do that. They focus on the business and they're looking at their money goals. And then, something else could be happening in their personal life that's actually causing the lack, and the lack causes, or the lack of
yeah.
it, I suppose. And then they
Hmm.
find that, it doesn't happen for whatever reason. But what a key element that, I always talk about when we talk about manifesting or law of attraction is that, they need to make a point of not just doing it in the morning, throughout the day. And I remember, years ago, I remember when I first realized that I could do it for personally and professionally, not just, my business. I used to set an
Yeah.
alarm clock, and I'd set it so it would make me realize that I have to continue to do it. And then it just became the habit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's with anything, right? Anything that you are enjoying and wanting to focus on, you have to focus on building the habits, right? Seven, what is it? Oh my gosh. Ken Blanchard's book, Highly Effective, Seven Habits of Highly Effective
Highly
People, that
effective
one,
people.
right?
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like I read that when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
Um, I had a very good older brother who motivated me and gave me the right books to read at certain ages. So that's what I do for the young people in my life, because those are the skills, those are the building blocks
Yeah.
to building a strong mindset, strong mind, body, and soul. And with that, you can then start building and compounding on your life goals, your business goals, right? But everything does start.
Yeah, no, I love that. I do actually, it just reminded me of, my older brother. And I remember she's gone back now a long time. Anyway, I won't say how long, but gone back a long time. And I remember being in bed late one night with a flashlight reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And like
Yeah,
he was laughing at me, saying, "Oh, what are you doing? You eat it." But 5 years later, then I had everything I've ever wanted. And then he got involved with the business at that time. But I remember him saying to
yeah,
me, I shouldn't have said what I said to you. I should have, took on board what you were doing and followed with what you were doing. We
yeah,
we
yeah.
since ended up in business together, and we ran a very successful business for 23 years, but
That's
we
awesome.
sold it last year. But it just, like what you've just said, it really is a learning curve, and you've got to put the effort in. And what you put in is what you get back out. And of course, same with manifesting. If you want
Yeah.
to get the results, you got to believe to create the belief, and then you've got to keep going with it.
Yeah, yeah. And Barry, you know this. Like our clients reach out to us obviously because they like what they see,
Yeah,
right? They like the results that we're getting,
yeah, yeah,
right? I always say to my clients, if you're not visible, you're invisible,
yeah,
right? So that helps build obviously your credibility,
yeah,
the know, like, and trust factor. And most of the clients that have reached out to me, it's because they see something in me that they are lacking,
yeah,
right? Whether that is confidence or trust in themselves to get something done. Or, I had one client reach out to me on LinkedIn and he said, I need to build a team. He's like, but I don't trust myself to build a team. He's like, I see that you manage teams for 11 years and you have HR experience and coaching. He's like, so could you help me out? And I'm like, absolutely. Right. And so I helped him go from being a solopreneur to building a team of four.
yeah.
And I met with him on a weekly basis. I met with his team members on a weekly basis, help build out the strategy, make sure that they're all communicating properly, all that fun stuff. Right.
I love it. Yeah, very good. What is the one thing I suppose you can share with somebody that may be on the fence? So, an entrepreneur, a business owner, like somebody maybe you just spoke about your past client where they're not sure, they're not 100% behind themselves to jump in, or they think they're going to lose money or whatever. What would be your advice?
So, my first piece of advice is, how long has this been a problem for you? Right? How long have you been struggling to achieve a certain goal? And if it has been for more than 6 months, then you need to start looking at different options, right? Because the definition of insanity, you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting
Yeah,
different results. It's
yeah,
not going to happen, right?
yeah,
And then the other thing is, if you got to ask yourself, if you're willing to invest in a coach or a consultant to help you get to the next level or help you, achieve that next goal, what is the long-term value? So short-term investment, but look at what the long-term value could be, right?
Yeah.
I had one client who was following me, coming to my free webinars for a year
Yeah.
and didn't push, would have one-on-ones with them. But I knew that she was struggling, right? In her business. There was something there.
Mhm.
And she was just giving me little tidbits of information. And I came to learn that she kept hiring consultants or coaches that were promising her the world and then not delivering.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she went 10 months with not being able to put out an online course.
Wow. Yeah.
And she was reluctant, right, to work with me, obviously, because of the mistakes of the past. I said to her, I'm like, you know what? Let's go month to month contract. Let's see how things go. And
Yeah.
after 4 months, we launched her online program,
Very good. Yeah.
right? And there you go. And so the proof is right
Yeah.
there, in the pudding, right?
Yeah. For
So you really need to look inward and ask yourself, how long has it been a problem, and am I willing to invest short term for long term gain?
I love that. You're so right. Like, and it reminds me of like what we had talked about in the latter part, the conversation when we are talking about polarity. A lot of people get stuck in negative or positive and shiny objects. So it's an emotional attachment to what they're buying as opposed to what they actually need to get what they want. And I've seen it so many times where somebody will buy something because they've been told that this is what's going to happen. Or Jimmy down the road has turned over 10 million. You can do the same. But in fact, when you release the emotion and feelings from that, uh, disengage from it, you actually realize that no, that person is different than me. They're not the same. So you might not get the same results. And then it's like what you said. It's there's so many people that have done so many things but not got the results. But when you listen to somebody and find out what it is they want and what they require, and then you can guide them through how to get there by taking
Yeah.
the necessary steps. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I know that there's a lot of coaches and consultants out there that will come in high level, do their assessment and offer their recommendations and then follow up maybe in a month or two. But I'm the type, I work with, I'm working with them very closely, them and their team, in
Yeah.
order to, make sure that they're all moving in the same direction and taking care of the barriers that are coming up, because 9 out of 10 times, and Barry, this, it's the barriers,
Yeah.
it's the lack of communication, it's the finger pointing,
Yeah.
it's the blaming, the complaining, the judging, that all get in the way,
Exactly.
right? So I
Yeah.
kind of act as that mediator, and strategist to help push that stuff along.
Again, I come back to it. It's the polarity. If you look for the good in something, you'll find it. If you look for the bad, you'll also find it. It's
Yeah, yeah.
seek, you find. Yeah. So it's almost like when you're playing with personalities, you just identify which way to deal with it and help to guide them through that, so they
Yeah,
realize that they can find the good in everything and make sure they get the results they get. Tina,
agreed.
a total pleasure. I really love them stories you told us. Thank you very much. Where can people make contact with you, or how?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can go to my website, which is seeyourselfgrow.com, or they can find me on all the social media platforms. It's See Yourself Grow with Tina on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn.
Fantastic. Tina, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity, Barry. It's been great.